What if fixing yourself was never about adding anything, but letting go of everything false? You chase success, you chase healing, you chase peace. But the more you chase, the more it slips away. And deep down, you know it. Something feels heavy and hollow. No matter how much you do, it's never done. You do not become free by becoming more. You become free by becoming less. What if the beliefs holding you back are the ones you never questioned? Before we begin with number 1, subscribe to Deep Wisdom, where every video is a doorway to calm, clarity, and timeless Buddhist insight you won't find anywhere else. And we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My healing begins today." These 10 uncomfortable truths aren't easy to face, but they hold the key to peace, power, and true transformation. Stay with me until the end. There's a powerful bonus lesson that most people never realize. But once you hear it, you'll never see yourself the same way again. Let's begin. 1. Stop worshipping comfort. It's making you weak. Comfort whispers softly, telling you to rest, to wait, to avoid the edge where growth lives. It convinces you that stillness is safety and that avoiding discomfort is the path to peace. But what if I told you that this comfort you cling to is the very seed of your suffering? The Buddha taught not to run from suffering, but to look into its eyes. Because true peace isn't the absence of pain, it is the ability to remain calm in the presence of it. The mind that avoids discomfort is the same mind that invites suffering. It's a hard truth, but necessary. Like a warm cocoon, comfort can feel like protection. But cocoons were never meant to be permanent homes. Stay too long, and the wings you were meant to grow never form. There's a kind of quiet destruction in always choosing what's easy. Every time you shrink from discomfort, you rob yourself of the strength that was waiting on the other side. Think about it. Why do so many people with everything still feel restless? Why does anxiety remain even when the room is quiet and the bills are paid? It's because peace born from avoidance is fragile. You're not free. You're simply undisturbed, for now. But underneath, the storm brews. True inner peace is not a result of escaping life's struggles. It's the reward of facing them with presence. Let's pause here. Sit for just 2 minutes, in silence. No distractions, no scrolling. Just you and the stillness. Observe what your mind does. Notice the thoughts that arise. The urge to check your phone, to stand up, to do something, anything. This is the discomfort you usually run from. Can you stay? Can you breathe through it? This is where strength begins. We often ask, why do I feel stuck? But maybe the better question is, what have I refused to feel? What difficult truth have I avoided in the name of keeping the peace? Has your comfort zone become your cage? One where your dreams shrink and your courage weakens day by day? Comfort isn't the enemy, but worshipping it, letting it dictate your choices, that is what makes you fragile. In Buddhism, we don't seek to escape the world, we seek to understand it. And discomfort is a powerful teacher. Every moment of pain contains a lesson, every hardship an invitation to grow. So ask yourself gently, what am I avoiding in the name of peace? And what might I become if I no longer feared discomfort? Because peace isn't given to those who avoid life. It's earned by those who embrace it. And sometimes, the most spiritual act is simply to stay with the discomfort long enough for it to show you who you really are. 2. Let the pain speak before you silence it. Sometimes, pain doesn't whisper. It rings through your chest like a temple bell, sharp, sudden, uninvited, but not meaningless. Buddhism teaches us not to flee from pain, but to bow to it. Because pain, as loud as it may be, is not your enemy. It's a messenger. It arrives not to punish, but to awaken, to bring you back to the part of yourself you've been too busy, too numb, or too afraid to feel. Pain is the call to return to the self. When we feel hurt, most of us rush to silence it through distraction, denial, or pretending we've moved on. But the truth is this: what you ignore, you prolong. What you refuse to face doesn't go away, it waits. It lives in your body. It reappears in your choices, your patterns, your reactions. That ache in your chest when you're alone. That fear in your gut before you speak your truth. These aren't coincidences. They are unspoken truths, trying to find a voice. Pain is like the old bell at the gates of the temple. It rings not to disturb you, but to wake you from the trance of avoidance. Have you been asleep inside your own life? Detached from your feelings, pretending to be okay, all while your soul keeps whispering, "Something isn't right." Take a breath. Gently place your hand on your heart and ask yourself with compassion, what is hurting beneath the noise? Sit with it. No need to fix or analyze, just feel. You may be surprised how much wisdom lives beneath the ache. It's often not about the situation itself. It's about the story you carry around it. The abandonment that taught you love is unsafe. The failure that made you feel unworthy. The silence you were forced to hold as a child. These are not flaws. These are your sacred wounds. They do not need to be silenced. They need to be honored. Let me ask you, what truth is your pain trying to tell you? And are you listening, or are you numbing it away? In Buddhism, suffering is not avoided, it is transmuted. We hold it, we breathe through it, and in doing so, we uncover the deeper self hiding beneath the pain. The self that has been longing not for a quick fix, but for presence, deep, loving presence. So don't silence your pain too quickly. Let it speak. Let it lead you back. Because sometimes the most sacred voice inside you is the one wrapped in sorrow, just waiting to be heard. 3. Your identity is a mask, not the mirror. You've worn many names: student, worker, achiever, failure, strong, broken, too much, not enough. These names form the mask you carry into the world, don't they? But who are you beneath them? Not the title, not the image, not even the story you tell yourself to fall asleep at night. Just you. The self before the roles, before the expectations, before the need to prove anything to anyone, even yourself. Buddhist teachings remind us, the self is not a thing, it is a thought. The moment you cling to an identity, it begins to separate you from your truth. You become the performer, not the presence, the idea, not the essence. Your ego, your self-image, is like smoke from a candle, swirling, shifting, rising into shapes your mind mistakes as real. But the smoke is not the flame, and you are the flame. The pain of modern life often lies in this: trying so hard to be someone that you forget how to simply be. You dress up in confidence while hiding your fear. You pursue success while burying your stillness. You become a role, a character in someone else's script, and wonder why you feel so hollow, so anxious, so far from peace. Try this. Stand before a mirror, not to adjust your hair or rehearse your smile, just to look. For 60 seconds, breathe. Drop the labels. Don't seek anything. Simply witness. The face looking back is not the mask. It is a doorway. And behind that doorway is something vast, quiet, and whole. Something no name could ever capture. Have you become a role more than a being? How much energy are you spending trying to keep an image alive, while your soul waits patiently for your return? In Buddhist practice, the path to liberation is not about improving the mask. It's about removing it, one gentle breath at a time. And in that space, you don't need to be anyone. You don't need to earn worth. You simply are, like the sky, needing no permission to exist. Let me offer you this reflection. Can you let go of who you think you are, even for a moment? Can you touch the quiet, untouched self underneath the noise? Because freedom begins there, when you stop chasing the mask and return to the mirror, not to fix, but to see. 4. Clinging is the root of all internal war. You say you love it, the dream, the person, the feeling, the future. But somewhere deep inside, it feels like a battle. Your heart pulls one way, your mind clings the other. You hold on because it once made you feel safe, certain, alive. And now, the idea of letting go feels like death. But here's the truth that Buddhist wisdom offers. What you hold too tightly will begin to hold you. Clinging is not love. It is fear disguised as attachment. You grip life, hoping it won't change. But change is its very nature. Clinging to anything, a past relationship, a job title, an identity, an outcome, creates friction against the flow of existence. And the tighter your grasp, the more painful the letting go becomes. The Buddha taught that suffering begins where attachment begins, not because desire is evil, but because our unwillingness to release desire turns it into suffering. Picture this. You scoop up water with your hands, but the more you clench your fists around it, the faster it slips away. The same happens with peace, joy, even love. The more you grasp, the less you actually hold. Sit quietly for a moment. Hold a small stone in your palm. Feel the tension when you clutch it tight. Then release it. Notice how the hand softens. That moment, the release, is where peace returns. It's not about losing. It's about making space. The war within you, the anxiety, the pressure, the overthinking, so much of it begins with this clinging. You fear loss, so you hold tighter. But what if what you fear losing is already costing you your peace? Let me ask you gently, what are you afraid to lose that's already exhausting your soul? Some truths are uncomfortable but necessary. Love is not possession. Dreams are not chains. Even your identity is not a prison you must protect. You can loosen your grip without losing yourself. This doesn't mean indifference, it means grace. It means holding life the way you hold a butterfly, open-handed, allowing it to land and leave as it needs to. The practice isn't in force, it's in surrender. Can you hold life more gently? That is the uncomfortable doorway to freedom. Letting go doesn't mean nothing matters. It means everything can be met with presence instead of control. When you no longer grasp, life flows again, and so does your breath. So next time your heart aches with tension, ask, am I holding or am I allowing? Because the root of inner war is not what you lost. It's what you refuse to release. And peace begins with an open hand. 5. Surrender is the secret to strength. You've been taught to fight, to push harder, to never back down, to resist the tide until your muscles give out. But what if the strength you seek isn't in the pushing, but in the releasing? What if life is not something to conquer, but something to trust? Why does everything seem to work when you stop trying so hard? Because effort without alignment becomes struggle. And surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom in disguise. There's a quiet power in letting go of control, not because you've given up, but because you've grown wise enough to know what's no longer yours to carry. Buddhist teachings remind us, in surrender, the current carries you to where effort could not. It's not that we stop moving, but we stop forcing. We learn to move with life, not against it. Imagine a leaf resting on a river's surface. It doesn't wrestle with the current. It doesn't ask which turn comes next. it simply surrenders. And yet, it always finds the shore. In that same way, surrender is not about becoming passive. It's about becoming present. You're no longer wasting energy trying to control the uncontrollable. You're allowing life to carry you where resistance never could. Lie down for a moment. Let the earth hold you. Let your breath soften. There's nothing you need to fix right now, nothing to prove. Feel how supported you already are, even without effort. This is surrender. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's quiet, subtle, and deeply healing. But we fight it, don't we? We think surrender means failure. We associate strength with control. But have you noticed? The more you try to force outcomes, the more they slip away. The more you cling to timing, the more delayed everything feels. Let me ask you gently, where in your life are you swimming upstream? Perhaps it's that relationship you keep trying to repair, even when your soul says it's time to rest. Or the version of success you chase, even when your peace is paying the price. Or maybe it's simply the constant pressure to be better, never allowing yourself to be enough here and now. What would happen if you just let go? Sometimes the greatest breakthrough comes the moment you release the fight. Not because the world changes, but because you do. You stop grasping. You stop chasing. You soften. And in that softness, you discover a new kind of power. One that doesn't need to be loud to be strong. When you surrender, you return to flow. You stop surviving and start living. And in that stillness, you realize what was meant for you never needed to be forced. 6. Your emotions are messengers, not enemies. Why do we fear our own feelings? Why do we rush to silence sadness, avoid anger, or disguise loneliness with distractions? Perhaps it's because no one taught us how to sit with what aches. We were told to cheer up, stay strong, or move on. But in doing so, we began to treat our emotions not as visitors, but as threats. And yet, what if the feelings you fight the most are the ones that hold your deepest healing? Buddhism teaches us, emotion is energy asking to be honored, not suppressed. Like wind moving through a forest, emotion is motion, energy in motion. It does not come to destroy you, but to move something within you. Your grief is not weakness. Your anger is not evil. Your anxiety is not failure. They are messengers knocking gently at the door of your awareness, whispering truths you may have ignored for too long. Imagine your emotions like passing storms. Loud, yes. Uncomfortable, yes. But storms water the soil. They clear the sky. Without them, growth would never happen. You do not curse the rain for falling. You let it come and go. What if you allowed your sadness to do the same? Your fear, your frustration, even your envy. What if they weren't enemies, but sacred signals of what needs tending? Close your eyes, just for a moment. What are you feeling right now? Not what you should feel. Not what you wish you felt, but what is. Can you name it without judgment, without rushing to fix it or push it away? This is presence. This is compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. So often, we exile parts of ourselves because they make others uncomfortable. We suppress our grief so we're not seen as weak. We hide our anger so we're not judged. But what we push away doesn't disappear, it burrows. And what burrows eventually breaks. Healing begins not when you escape your emotions, but when you embrace them. Let me ask you gently, what emotions have you exiled? Is there an old pain still waiting to be heard? Is there a part of you screaming in silence, asking for kindness instead of shame? Your emotions are not defects. They are not signs that something is wrong with you. They are sacred invitations to come home to yourself. And when you stop running from them, when you sit with your sadness, breathe with your fear, honor your anger with awareness, something incredible happens. The storm passes, the sky clears, and you realize your feelings never wanted to control you. They only wanted to be felt. Let every emotion arise, be seen, and pass. Not one is permanent, but each one is pointing you home. 7. Chaos outside reflects chaos within. Why does the world feel so loud, even when everything around you is quiet? Why does restlessness remain, even in moments meant for peace? It's tempting to blame the noise outside, the traffic, the messages, the chaos of other people's lives. But what if that noise is only echoing something deeper, something within? Buddhism teaches, your outer world is a mirror of your inner weather. If your mind is stormy, even the calmest day can feel unsettling. If your thoughts are tangled, even a silent room will seem suffocating. We don't see life as it is. We see it through the lens of our own inner state. Like a dirty window that dims even the sunlight, the mind colors everything we experience. Take a simple object near you, a cup, a table, a book, and begin to clean it with full attention. Not to rush, not to finish, but to notice. Watch how your mind wants to speed up, to wander, to turn this small act into a task to complete. But when you return to the moment, when you move slowly and deliberately, you might find something surprising. The stillness isn't outside. It's been waiting for you inside. So often, we fill our lives with clutter, digital, emotional, material, not because we need more, but because we're afraid to be with less. The chaos becomes a distraction from the silence we don't know how to sit with. But silence is not emptiness. It is space. It is truth. It is where healing whispers when the world gets quiet enough to hear it. Let me ask you gently, what in your life is cluttered? Because your mind is. What noise are you entertaining that's been exhausting your soul? Have you mistaken busyness for worth and noise for meaning? Stillness is not laziness. Stillness is not failure. In fact, stillness is the most radical form of clarity. It's in stillness that you realize not everything needs fixing, changing, or chasing. Some things just need to be seen, to be accepted, to be allowed. A monk once said, "When the water is still, the moon reflects clearly." If your life feels like a storm, perhaps it's not the world that needs calming, but the heart. You can begin now, not by doing more, but by doing less, with more presence. Turn off the noise, clean something slowly, walk without your phone, sit with your breath. This is not wasted time, this is sacred repair. Let peace become your new rhythm, let stillness become your success, and watch how the chaos outside begins to quiet, as the clarity within begins to rise. 8. You're waiting for a future that never comes. You keep waiting, waiting for the right time, the perfect moment, for the tension to leave your chest, for the noise to settle, for your real life to finally begin. One day, you whisper to yourself, when the bank account is full, when the work is done, when the body is healed, when the world cooperates. But days keep passing, and peace never quite arrives. Buddhism reminds us with quiet wisdom. Chasing the future is the art of missing your life. We become so fixated on reaching some distant version of happiness that we step over the very ground that could offer it now. The future, after all, is not a destination. It is a mirage. Like the horizon, it keeps shifting the closer you get. And if you live only in pursuit, your life becomes a treadmill of almosts. Almost happy, almost present, almost free. Pause. Place your fingers gently together. Feel your breath rise, fall. Say silently, "This is life. Not later, not someday. Now, this moment is not a means to an end. It is the end. The taste of tea, the breeze on your skin, the sound of your own breath. These are not distractions from life. They are life. But the mind resists. It fears stillness. It fears stopping. It says, if I don't keep running, I'll fall behind. But behind what? Ahead of who? The deepest illusion is that we are not already enough. That peace is something earned through suffering. That joy lives on the other side of achievement. But what if it doesn't? Ask yourself gently, what are you postponing your happiness for? What goal, person, or version of yourself are you waiting to become before you allow yourself to feel whole? And what if that day never comes? Would you live your entire life preparing for a moment that never arrives? Peace is not in the future, it's in presence, right here. And the beauty is, the moment you truly arrive in the now, the chase ends, the exhaustion fades, you stop performing and start being. A monk once said, when the mind settles, the world becomes clear. Your world does not need to be perfect. You do not need to be perfect. You simply need to arrive, here, without reaching, without running, without needing the next thing to complete you. So take this breath as your homecoming. Look around and feel the truth you've always known, that life isn't waiting for you in the future. It's happening now, in the quiet in between, in the unnoticed, in the small. Let this moment be enough. Let now be your teacher. Let presence be the place where you finally meet your life and yourself. 9. Weakness grows when you negotiate with it. There is a quiet moment just before we choose, where the mind whispers something soft, almost invisible. Just rest a little longer. Just skip it today. You'll begin tomorrow. And in that fragile pause, something powerful happens. We either rise or retreat. It doesn't scream. It doesn't break things. It just delays. And delay, repeated enough times, becomes your destiny. The mind that seeks comfort will always betray its own potential. These words are not meant to shame you, but to awaken you, because what you avoid becomes your master. And each time you negotiate with weakness, you lose a little more of the strength you were born to claim. Growth isn't built in ease. A seed never blossoms in perfect stillness. It needs darkness, yes, but also the strain to push through it. The courage to rise through the soil, stretch toward the light, and become something more. Comfort, on the other hand, is seductive. It feels kind, even wise. But often, it is the disguised voice of fear, fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of not being enough. So ask yourself, gently but honestly, are you feeding the part of you that avoids growth? Is your comfort zone quietly becoming your cage? Many times, what we call self-care is actually self-preservation, not from danger, but from effort. And without effort, nothing blooms, not strength, not peace, not purpose. Sit still, take a breath, pick up a pen and write down the one habit you've been delaying. It doesn't have to be large, just one. Then pause and ask, what would a higher version of me choose right now? The you that's already disciplined, already free, already whole. That version of you isn't in some distant future. It's waiting quietly in the next choice. Discipline is not punishment, it's devotion. Devotion to your own becoming. You don't have to get it right every time. But every time you say, not today, you build the muscle of regret. And every time you say now, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, you build the life you were meant for. Weakness isn't evil. It's a teacher. It shows you where the fire hasn't yet reached, where the steel is still soft, where the path still demands your presence. But if you stop negotiating with it, if you simply decide, something shifts, not outside, but within. So let today be that shift. Let your excuses grow quiet. Let your actions rise louder than your doubts. Let the higher version of you not be a dream, but a direction. The future is shaped not in breakthroughs, but in the tiny, repeated bravery of choosing what serves your strength. Your greatness is not in what you plan, it's in what you practice. And it begins now. 10. You don't heal by adding, you heal by releasing. There is a kind of healing the world doesn't speak of. It doesn't come in the form of more, not more goals, more affirmations, more habits, or more achievements. It comes quietly, not by adding anything new, but by gently letting go of everything false. You are not a problem to be solved. You are not a project that needs perfecting. You are not broken. You are buried. Beneath layers of fear, comparison, identity, and noise, there is something unchanging, untouched. Not something to become, but something to return to. The truth of who you are is not found. It is uncovered. Like the moon behind the clouds, your wholeness has never left. You may not always feel it, but that doesn't mean it's gone. It only means something has drifted in front of it, temporarily. The world has taught you to build a name, build an image, build a future. But in trying to become someone, you slowly drift from yourself. Your healing begins when you realize this. You don't need to become more. You need to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Let that remembering start in stillness. Sit with yourself without performance. Just breathe. Inhale slowly, and as you exhale, imagine one belief falling away, one fear, one old role you no longer need to carry. Release it like smoke into the air. Lighten yourself by no longer carrying what was never yours. Your true self is like the moon, always whole, even when hidden by clouds. You don't fix a clouded moon. You wait, you witness, and eventually the clouds part. The same is true for you. There's no need to fix yourself. There's only a need to release what clouds your light. Ask yourself quietly, what am I holding that no longer feels like me? The expectations you never chose. The masks you've worn to feel worthy. The stories of your past that no longer fit who you're becoming. Every piece you let go of brings you closer to what's always been within. Not a shinier version of yourself, but a truer one. Let go of the belief that healing means doing more. Let go of the race to be someone. What would remain if everything false fell away? Silence? Maybe. Stillness? Likely. But beneath that, something sacred. Something deeply you. So instead of striving to become, practice the art of unbecoming. Practice returning. Practice shedding. Practice trusting that what remains once all else is gone is enough. Because it is. The deeper path is rarely about gaining. It's about giving up what you were never meant to carry. The healing you seek doesn't demand more effort. It asks for surrender. Not to weakness, but to truth. And in that surrender, you don't lose yourself. You finally meet yourself. Whole. Uncovered. Home. Bonus lesson. Silence is the highest form of wisdom. There is a sacred place beyond words, a place your mind cannot explain, but your soul instantly recognizes. It is not filled with teachings, techniques, or voices. It is made of silence, and in that silence, something remarkable happens. You begin to hear again, not the world, but yourself. We live in a world obsessed with noise. We scroll, speak, seek, solve, always reaching for the next answer, hoping that more sound will finally quiet our restlessness. But the truth rarely shouts. it whispers. And when the noise is too loud, even the most ancient wisdom goes unheard. When the mouth is silent, the soul begins to speak. There's a reason why the greatest sages said less. Not because they lacked knowledge, but because they had touched something deeper than knowledge. Something that lives beneath words. Something that can only be known in stillness. Imagine a clear lake. When it is disturbed, you see only the ripples, not the depths. But when it is still, you can see all the way to the bottom. That's your mind. That's your heart. Wisdom was never far, only clouded by the ripples of constant thinking, explaining, judging, and reacting. You don't need to become smarter. You need to become quieter. Try it. Speak nothing for 1 hour. Don't distract. Don't explain. Don't fill the space. Just observe. The mind will resist at first. It will feel boring, awkward, maybe even unbearable. But if you stay, if you soften, something beautiful emerges. You begin to notice what was always there. The breath becomes a sermon. The wind sounds like scripture. Your heartbeat is the drum of life itself. And perhaps for the first time, you begin to hear you. Not the ego, not the roles, but the soul behind it all. Not every answer needs to be spoken. Some are only revealed when the questions dissolve in silence. Ask yourself now, when was the last time you truly heard your own soul? Not what it wants to do, but what it longs to be. What if that clarity you've been searching for isn't in the next book, podcast, or conversation, but in the quiet moment you've been avoiding? True wisdom is like still water. Only when the ripples stop can you see what lies beneath. In silence, there is no performance. There is no comparison. There is only presence. And in presence, there is peace. Don't be afraid of silence. It is not empty. It is full of truth, full of remembering, full of return. Let it hold you. Let it cleanse you. Let it reveal the voice that never needed to shout to be heard. Because once you hear that voice, you'll never confuse noise with truth again. Quick summary of the lessons. Stop worshipping comfort. It's making you weak. We often avoid discomfort thinking it's dangerous, but growth and clarity only emerge when we step into it. Comfort zones numb our awareness and slowly weaken our spiritual muscle. To evolve, we must stretch into what's unfamiliar. Real peace isn't comfort, it's strength through presence. Let the pain speak. Before you silence it, pain isn't here to harm you, it's here to wake you up. Most people run from pain, but Buddhism teaches us to listen deeply instead. When you allow pain to express itself, it often dissolves. Your wounds are not a curse, they are hidden wisdom. Your identity is a mask, not the mirror. We cling to roles, titles, and stories about who we are, but the self we protect is just a mental construct. Buddhist teachings invite us to go beyond ego into pure awareness. The real you is not a name. It's the space behind the thought. Clinging is the root of all internal war. Attachment creates tension in relationships, goals, and even emotions. The more tightly we grip, the more fear and control we generate. Letting go doesn't mean not caring. It means caring with freedom. Freedom begins when you stop tying your peace to external things. Surrender is the secret to strength. Trying to control everything drains your spirit. The more you push, the more life resists. Buddhism teaches that surrender isn't defeat. It's alignment with the deeper rhythm of reality. You don't have to force life. You just have to stop resisting it. Your emotions are messengers, not enemies. Most of us label emotions as good or bad. But in Buddhism, emotions are messengers, not enemies. They are energies that want to move through us, not stay stuck. When we allow ourselves to feel instead of fix, healing begins naturally. Chaos outside reflects chaos. Within, what we see in our outer world is often a projection of our inner state. Constant noise, drama, and overwhelm are signs of internal unrest. By cultivating inner stillness, we reshape our external reality. A calm mind creates a calm life. You're waiting for a future that never comes. We often postpone peace by saying, someday, but the future is an illusion. There is only now. Chasing future success at the cost of the present is the root of restlessness. True contentment is always found in the stillness of this moment. Weakness grows. When you negotiate with it, discipline is not punishment, it's sacred protection. When we compromise our higher self for comfort, we betray our own potential. Growth requires inner fire and devotion. Excuses are the soil where weakness thrives. Commitment is where transformation begins. You don't heal by adding. You heal by releasing. Healing isn't about becoming more, it's about becoming less. Less attached, less reactive, less ego-driven. You're not broken. You're just burdened with things that aren't you. Inner peace returns when we let go of everything false and return to simplicity. Silence is the highest form of wisdom. Silence holds answers that words can't touch. It is in stillness that the soul whispers. When we stop speaking, judging, and performing, wisdom begins to arise. In silence, the deepest truths appear without needing to be explained. You came here searching for answers, for a way to fix what feels broken. But maybe the path isn't to fix anything. It's to uncover the peace that was always there beneath the noise. These truths may feel sharp at first, but they cut away the illusions we've wrapped around ourselves for too long. And in their wake, something softer, truer, and stronger begins to rise. In Zen, it is said that the quieter you become, the more you can hear. This is the essence of healing, not in constant doing, but in being. Not in gathering more, but in letting go of what no longer serves the soul. These truths are not here to make you comfortable. They're here to wake you up, to stir something ancient and sacred within you, to remind you that peace was never outside. It was only waiting in the silence of your own awareness. The path is not found in adding more, but in removing what never belonged to you. Let this moment be the beginning of your return to stillness, to presence, to truth. If this touched your soul, remind yourself often. The most powerful transformation doesn't make you louder, it makes you quieter. If this message moved you, please like and share this video. Share your reflections in the comment box below. We read everyone. And don't forget to subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more Buddhist insights to help you live a peaceful and powerful life.